Hey everybody, before we jump right into the action, I just wanted to let you know that these things are streamed on Twitch, and if you wanna hang out with me while I'm live, you can follow the channel, will be the first link in the description. Okay, get a new game. Gonna be trying out another London system, and we see D6 setup. This is pretty interesting because it's usually connected with the kingside fianchetto. And opponent plays some strange setup. I'm pretty sure this is not covered in the course. At least not yet. We could have an update on these. So if you guys feel like this should be a line worth including, you can always let me know in the comment section of the course. And we can take care of that. So opponent plays knight bd7 here. I'm thinking of h3. Also could do like e4 move, but then e5 if he wants. I'll do h3. See what he wants to do with a bishop. And against that, I think maybe queen b3 could be clever. Yeah, I just have a feeling the queen is well placed on that square in this line. And I think we're also supposed to go for some quick g4. Yeah, I have a feeling here g4 works quite well. Bishop g6, h4, knight g4, h5, bishop f5, e4, bishop e6, d5. There's knight c5. That's maybe meh. So then the other one is knight h4. And we can just play for this theme. Like this is also something that we do quite often in the course. We just hand the enemy bishop, cash it in, and play with the bishop pair. So we can sidestep, just no need to open up the position yet by taking, because that will give him additionally the c5 square for the knight. So not interested to see that. Plays bishop e4. It's actually pretty clever by my opponent, because if I go f3, he's trying to hide on e6. And also if I take, his idea is that, well, my bishop will be under attack. I guess that's okay. Still can afford tempo to move it back. Now knight f5 I wanted, hitting both the bishop and the pawn. So castling would be huge blunder. He needs to play bishop f6. And on bishop f6, maybe just bishop g2, developing and attacking his knight. Doesn't have an easy square for the knight, because now the knight usually went back to f6. Now if knight g5, maybe h4, can play knight e6, but then maybe g5. His bishop has to go back, but usually when you have to play so many retreating moves in a row, it is not a great sign, to put it mildly. So just gonna be doing that, hitting the knight. Follow it up with g5. He's gonna have to move the bishop, I think, to e7. I will just basically keep pushing. Just g5. I'm not even trying to see how to win this directly. It's just about improving our position at best and then trying to look for like the decisive shot. So don't really see a way to make progress here. Maybe time to actually get ourselves castled. I chose this side because with these pawns pushed, usually we don't castle on that side. So this is better. They can't castle because the bishop drops, and on g6 can definitely consider to take there. Try to open up the position. Can also think about knight h6, maybe knight f7 ideas. Many interesting moves. d5 with ed6, also interesting candidate. So typically this would be like the easiest way to play. I think I'm gonna try to show an interesting exchange sack. Gonna go de5, and I actually had in mind to do rook d7. That might not be so clever because of king d7 or because he takes with a knight. What do I know? So I wanted to play f4, but then knight g4 seems strong. Maybe just bishop h3 first. Could be doable. Queen b4 could be strong as well. Threatening the knight. Maybe he wants a5. And then on a5, queen e4. Feels like a good move. Knight c5. But then queen e3. This actually looks pretty. Threatening these. His king in the middle is kind of problematic. Expecting some kind of a5 move and then we do queen e4. With some rook d6 ideas in that position, to be honest. Just going for the juicy exchange sack. Because the dark square bishop will be controlling the whole board. So, yeah, let's see. Kind of similar story if he goes like c5, just same queen e4, and then the light squared bishop will be even more active because the c6 pawn is kind of restricting it now. Yeah, c5, but now this is opening bishops as I was saying, so can even go for the free pawn. Do we guys like kind of go for the endgame in general? But here I want to show you this trick to go rook d6 and sacrifice the exchange. I think can be a pretty instructive theme. So we'll much rather try to play that on the board. He could play queen c6 here, but that loses to bishop e5 and bishop f6 intermezzo. And like rook h d8 might be the best move for him. At least against my exchange sack. So rook d6, queen d6, bishop e5. Then there will be queen d2 check. That's annoying. So maybe if he plays rook a d8, we might have to go for the sad endgame with queen b7. Yeah, I think that will be the case. I really want to take on d6, but if he plays like a rook onto d8 now, it's not going to be that easy to deliver properly. Maybe you can still go for it because queen d2 check king b1 and I don't see follow-up for my opponent. And our position still looks relatively easy to play. So definitely taking some time here. I think he should definitely think about coordinating his pieces. So he plays rook d8 eventually. Yeah, could always go for like the safe move. Can we go like f4, then knight g4? Still a little bit annoying. Rook d5 also interesting move, by the way. He simply has no way to attack my rook and putting a lot of pressure on his possession. Rook d5, I feel like it's even more technical than going for the endgame there. Because the endgame was better, but kind of giving him an easier defense. Now after this, he has a much harder time protecting d6 with my London bishop putting pressure. So I think now we're actually just having an easy win because of the weakness of the d6 pawn. And if he goes knight e5 back, maybe we have rook d6, rook d6, rook d6, queen d6, bishop e5, queen has to move, queen d7, let's say. No, actually I had queen d8, and after that, maybe bishop f6 intermezzo was strong. And he is forced to do king d7 in order to have that rook protected. But against this, I think we have easy win with that move. Even simpler take with the rook because we're threatening to do the discovery and then the queen suffers. So if I take with the bishop, he can sack the exchange, but now he can no longer sack the exchange and we're most likely gonna end up winning the queen as it happens now. So I think that's pretty nice. Still, okay, he's got a rook and a knight. Maybe not the easiest win ever yet. But I think we can start by giving this check. And then pushing our pawns. Wait, yeah, like maybe just e3 for starters. Just realized this movie is a little annoying, so Might actually consider stepping back. I would love to trade my bishop for one of his knights, that's for sure. I'll just do e3 first. Controlling f4 square, and against rook d8, I think we just go queen f3, hitting this pawn, and on knight e5 we have a pretty annoying pin that might actually win us the knight. Has king d6 there, but I don't really feel like the knight will have a long life being defended by the king, but we'll see. Oh, wait, knight e5 actually just loses to queen b7. What am I saying? Forgot about that idea. And now, do not go there because knight covers it. We do have the check though. Could also play h5 using this little trick that knight takes, runs into queen g3 or queen f4, picking up the knight. And I think now the check is quite tempting to give. Can think about trading one of his knights, and I think quite instructive will be to get this pawn to h6. You want to collect that h7 pawn, and our pawn will be pretty far advanced, so that's why we want to keep. He still has knight f8, that's true, but now next part will be to like get the king involved. I think it looks good on c4. And slowly keep expanding. He does that move. Can just protect my pawn. If rook f5. My queen is almost trapped, but I have a check. So forcing knight f8. Then I want to go queen e5. Winning a tempo. And now like queen e4, there is rook d6. Barely surviving, but I think we have funny tactic with g6. Yeah, watch this, guys. So f5. He's gotta take you with a pawn, otherwise he's losing the knight. And then we go g6. And now if he takes this way, we pick up the knight. And if he takes that way, we actually get to push the pawn and queen. That was a pretty nice idea to win his pieces there. And we forged resignation and we managed to get this one in. Hey everybody, thanks a lot for making it this far into the video. And if you're interested in checking out my London system course, will be the first link in description. So thanks again, and I'll see you around on the channel. Take care.